Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure review, and today we are featuring Malefik Spawn from the Mortal Kombat 11 action figure line by McFarlane Toys. Alright, so I purchased this figure loose recently, and I haven't seen it in the wild, so the first chance I saw it, I decided to pick it up. I might get the repaint version on Amazon when that comes out later this month. But for now, I was just kind of stoked to get the original like Spawn branded colors, where he's kind of like the dark black, the red, and the white. So what we have here is Malefik Spawn. Let's get him into focus. Alright, so the one thing that really drew me to this action figure is that the sculpting on him, especially like on his body, where his muscles are and his legs, there's something about this design that's very reminiscent of the original live-action Spawn movie. So if you recall that movie, it's really old. It came out, I believe, in the mid to late 90s, and it starred Michael Jai White as Spawn. I think that's correct. It's been forever since I've seen it. And in the movie, the live version of Spawn, the costume, it looked really cool. It looked very organic-like. It kind of deviated from the like more traditional spandex-wearing superhero that kind of resembled Spawn in the original comic books. And when I saw this figure, the texture on the body, it just kind of looked more organic, and it really brought me back to the live-action Spawn. So this is a figure that's been on my radar for a while. All right, so to the best of my knowledge, since I purchased this figure loose, I believe it's missing a couple of the accessories, and I think those were like the green plasma effects. So if you're familiar with Spawn to begin with, he's a character that's kind of imbued with magic, and the magic is always represented by some sort of like weird green flowing plasma. And I believe this figure came with two of those accessories, but since I bought this loose, it was missing them. But today we're just going to pretty much just take a look at the figure solid and see, what this guy's like. I can tell you right now, the sculpting is amazing. It's nothing short of amazing. All right, that was redundant. All right, the sculpting is amazing. It's nothing short of being fantastic. All right, that's what I meant to say. I'm kind of slipping over my words. The texture, for example, like on the cape, it's just crazy. Look how detailed that is. The cape looks really worn. Not only is it like kind of like torn, but there's even like cracking in the material. It looks wild. So it's kind of fun that they incorporate non-branded Mortal Kombat characters into the Mortal Kombat McFarlane line. Like we've had a handful of different Spawn figures. There's also been repaints. Most recently, there was a Joker figure. So Mortal Kombat, it's had a long history with especially in the games, it's had a long history of pulling in characters from other IPs. Like if you remember some of the previous Mortal Kombat games, some of the downloadable characters were like Jason, the Predator. There was the crossover event where it was Mortal Kombat versus DC. So, I mean, it always feels natural that you would put Spawn in a Mortal Kombat game, especially since he's appeared in other video games before, like I think it was Soul Calibur. So over here we have Malefik Spawn. A very, very interesting twist on the character. He's almost like one part medieval Spawn, but with a very Mortal Kombat aesthetic. His armor pieces kind of are reminiscent of maybe like Shao Kahn. Great texture work on the chest. A lot of raised details. The paint application is pretty clean. It's a very bright, bold red. And instead of accenting his white trim, instead they use silver. So he has silver in place of white. As nice as the paint application is, I kind of feel like it would have benefited more from maybe like applying a wash to the cape and the silver bits, just to like really bring out the details. But yeah, the sculpting is really well done, as you can see here. Lots of great details on the boots, the belt, the gauntlets on his arms. Yeah, McFarlane Toys, they really revolutionized the toy industry during the 90s, with the quality of work they did. Now, we're going to take a look at the articulation. For this guy, his head rotates. It looks down about that much. You can look up. Now, in the vent of his cape here, it's kind of a very, very soft plastic. As you can see, it's a little bit thicker though towards the bottom, but it's a pliable material. It's not like completely super stiff. One thing that kind of turned me off with this figure is because originally I was kind of hoping that the cape was removable because I'd like to do it custom with this guy. But then when you look at his back, the cape's like plugged in. Apparently there's a socket in the cape and there's this giant peg in his upper back right there, which is unfortunate because I was kind of hoping that the cape would be like easily accessible and that you'd just be able to pop it off, but no, that's not the case. In terms of his torso, there's a break below his chest and it allows for him to kind of like rock a little, swivel, and I think he does have a waist articulation also. I think I might be wrong on that. If there is, I can't see it because of the belt, but I want to say there is a connection here, but it's either too tight or it's not meant to be moved. His arms can rotate and they hit the shoulder pad. They go out. There's a bicep cut right there, so it allows for bicep movement. He has double pinned elbows. His wrists are articulated. This material here is very soft also. As you can see, a lot of flexibility. So he could kick up. He could kick outward. 2 pins in his knees. So he has double jointed knees. Extreme toe articulation, as you can see. Yeah, very solid figure. If I had to rate this guy on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd easily give this guy an 8. 8 to an 8.5. It's a great rendition of Spawn. So yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of the McFarlane Mortal Kombat line, I think this is a great figure to add to that collection. It's a very unique design. And like I said, there's going to be a repaint of this guy. I believe the repaint's more so white and gold. And he's going to have the blood splatter effects on him. But yeah, I'm excited to add this to my collection. I'm a big Spawn fan from way back when. And anytime they come out with a Spawn figure that kind of resembles like old school Spawn, I'm all over that. And this one kind of fits that bill. His design is very old school, but it has like a lot of Mortal Kombat elements like integrated into it. Whereas the earlier releases of Spawn in the Mortal Kombat line, that just straight up looked like Spawn. Alright, with that being said, once again, my name is Lou. If you are new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning subscriber viewer, thank you so much for your continued likes, comments, and support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I will see you at the next one.